And I'm going through the worst time of my life. I know this sounds awful, but I spent all of my parents' money on mobile games. I really wish I hadn't. I want to tell you my story so you won't make the same mistakes as me. On my 13th birthday, my parents presented me with a huge gift box. My dad said, "Aiden, we love you so much. You really deserve this present." I opened the box right away. It was a PlayStation 4. For most kids my age, this would have been a dream gift, but I wasn't happy. I told my parents, "You don't know me at all. When was the last time you saw me playing a video game?" Of course, that really hurt them. Back then, I wasn't into video games at all. For me, sitting in front of a screen and hitting buttons for hours seemed really stupid. I looked down on gamers. I was angry at my parents for thinking I was one of those kids. Obviously, they didn't deserve such a reaction. My parents aren't rich, so I was aware that it wasn't easy for them to get me such an expensive gift. But as I said earlier, for some reason I used to hate video games back then. After a few weeks, when my dad saw that I didn't even touch that PlayStation, he sold it on eBay. I liked playing outside. My best friend Sean lived nearby. We'd always hang out together. Back then, I didn't even have a cell phone, but Sean had not only a phone, but also a tablet and a laptop. But he wasn't into video games either. We'd usually play basketball in his backyard or ride our bikes around the lake. One day, something happened.
Crispy-licious, juicy-licious chicken joy.
With sweet sarap, jolly spaghetti, Jollibee perfect pair.
Around the lake. One day, something happened. We were racing each other to the lake. The road was slippery and Sean lost control of his bike and crashed into a tree. He was taken to a hospital where the doctors found fractures in both of his legs. That meant he wouldn't be able to get out of bed for a long time. I visited Sean every day after school. We usually watched something online. Meanwhile, Sean got into Minecraft as a way to pass the time. He got hooked really quickly. He would keep playing even while I was visiting him, so I would just sit there and watch him. I'd heard of Minecraft, but I had no idea what it was all about. It was a really fun game. Just like Sean, I was quickly hooked. I would rush to his place after school, and we'd play Minecraft together for hours. I really wanted to play at home as well, but the only electronic device I owned was a laptop I got from my cousin when he went away to college, and it was too old for Minecraft. I had to find another solution fast. My dad is an ambulance driver and my mom is a nurse in the emergency room. Their jobs required both of them to work several night shifts each week. Because they were so tired from working all night, they spent almost all day sleeping. One morning, I ran into my mom as I was leaving for school. She was coming home from her shift. "I'm so exhausted. I need to get some sleep," she said, and gave me a kiss. I went to Sean's after school. We played Minecraft for hours, as usual. Then I came home. My mom was still asleep. I realized that I could play Minecraft on her phone. I couldn't see her phone lying around, so I went into her bedroom. My mom is a deep sleeper. She didn't hear me come in. I took her phone and went back to my room. I unlocked her phone because I knew her code and downloaded the trial version of Minecraft. I played all night. I was in such a good mood. I decided I would play whenever my mom was asleep. But the trial version was only good for a month. What would happen then? I couldn't ask my parents to buy me the game after the way I reacted when they bought me the PlayStation. For days after my birthday, I would tease them, saying, "What will you get me next year? An Xbox or a Nintendo?" Now there was no way I could ask them to buy me Minecraft. I checked the Play Store to see how much it cost. It wasn't that expensive. I could hit buy and download it just like that. I could barely stop myself. I was wondering if my mom was checking all the transactions on her credit card statement. It wouldn't be a big purchase. She might not even notice it. I decided to go for it. I pressed buy. However, I got an alert on the phone saying, "Confirm fingerprint to continue." No way! It turned out I needed my mom's fingerprint to complete the payment process, and only my mom could do that. I was devastated that I couldn't buy the game, but that was it. I had to go back to playing Minecraft. At least I could keep playing the trial version for a month. Then, unfortunately, I had a terrible idea. I could just use my mom's finger while she was sleeping. I was sure she wouldn't even notice and sleep through it. Once my grandmother called my mom while she was sleeping after working the night shift. She didn't hear her phone even though it was right next to her. Finally, I went into the bedroom and answered it myself. You see, when my mom works the night shift, she goes into this really deep sleep the next day, and I was going to take advantage of that. I went into the bedroom. Mom was sleeping like a baby. I took her finger very carefully and pressed it against the phone. Bingo! The purchase went through. My mom was still sleeping. That day, I was so proud of myself for thinking of this, but I really regret it now. Sean had soon recovered from his accident, but we weren't going outside anymore because we were both addicted to games. All we did was play. Sean's family was well off, so he didn't have the same problems with money. He could buy any game he wanted. He could also do as many in-game purchases as he liked. I, on the other hand, was only able to play the free games. One night, I was playing Clash of Clans on my mom's phone. I was really annoyed. I couldn't get to the same level as Sean because I couldn't spend money. I decided to do the same thing I did for Minecraft. My mom had worked the night before, so she was passed out. I could pull off the same trick again. And I did. I went into her bedroom. I took my mom's finger gently and pressed it against the phone. Just like the last time, the payment went through. Clash of Clans cost quite a bit more than Minecraft. But still, my mom didn't say anything about it. Apparently, she wasn't checking her credit card transactions. I was relieved when I realized I wasn't going to get caught. There was another game I was curious about. It was time to buy that one. Do I need to spell it out? I used the same method, and it was as easy as pie. For a while, I didn't buy anything else, but I couldn't stop myself for long. It was as if I had the devil on one shoulder and the angel on the other. The devil kept saying, "It's so easy. You can spend as much money on games as you want. Go ahead, do it," pushing me to do it again. The angel was saying, "If you get caught, your family would be so upset. This is wrong. Don't waste money on games." As you might have guessed, I listened to the devil. That night, I bought 4 more games. I was now just like Sean. I could spend as much money as I wanted. I was feeling so great about myself. My mom doesn't know much about technology, but I still wanted to be careful. I put all the games I downloaded on her phone into a folder. Then, using an app, I set a password to protect the folder, so my mom would never be able to see any games on her phone. From then on, I completely lost control. I was looking forward to my mom's night shifts. I was buying 20 different games while she was asleep. I was spending hundreds of dollars each time, and my poor mom had no idea. I bought a ton of games over several months. Because of my parents' night shifts, we almost never ate dinner together. One night, all 3 of us were at the table. My mom looked really happy. She said, "Aiden, we have important news for you. Your dad and I quit our jobs at the hospital today. We're planning to start a retirement home. We are going to have a family business." I was so surprised. My dad smiled and said, "This was our biggest dream. We've been saving for this for years, and we've finally found the courage to go through with it." I was getting really excited too. I said, "This is great news," and hugged them both. But the next day when I came home, my mom was crying. I said, "Mom, what's wrong?" She didn't answer. My dad was so angry with me. "You destroyed us. How could you do something so irresponsible? I'm going to disown you. You cannot be my son. You're not my son," he yelled. I didn't know what he was talking about. I said, "Mom, what's going on?" My mom explained, "We went to the bank today. We wanted to get some money to incorporate our business, but you spent all the money we've saved on games. Because it was a debit card, I wasn't receiving any statements from the bank. We were shocked when the bank clerk said I had only $37 in my account. I couldn't believe it. I said, "Mom, I couldn't have spent all of the money. What's a debit card? How is it different from a credit card?" Mom said, "Unlike a credit card, a debit card has no spending limit. The debit card that was linked to the Play Store was directly connected to my bank account. All of our money was in that account. You spent it all. We just quit our jobs. What are we going to do now?" And started crying again. Even though this sounds incredible, this is exactly what happened. I spent all the money my family has worked for years to save on mobile games. My parents have refused to talk to me since that day. Even if they're able to forgive me one day, I know I will always feel guilty. I still can't believe I was able to do something so terrible.